This week on And You Don't Stop, we're in Oakland, California with the People's Minister of Information, J.R. Valrey, as he talks to us about the local origins of the Black Panther Party. And we have the Zulu King, MCK Swift, on Rooftop Live.
Right now we are in West Oakland, California, home of the Black Panthers. We are right on the spot where Huey and Bobby met. The first two Black Panthers, they met at this school. This used to be Merritt College. They both were students here. Huey was coming from the hood. He could barely read and was teaching himself how to read at the time from Oakland Tech, which is down the street, not too far. Bobby Seale was getting out of the military where he was working on missile projects for the United States military in Hayward, but he lived on 57th, which is like directly across the street from the front door of the college. October of 1966, they started the Soul Advisory Committee, which is the predecessor to the Black Student Union. In Merritt College, Black Student Union is the predecessor to the Black Panther Party. One of the biggest things that helped build the Black Panther Party was the Free Huey campaign. Huey was accused of murdering a police officer, and the Black Panthers' perspective and the people's perspective was that the police tried to murder Huey. He got stopped, and basically a shootout occurred, and one officer died, one officer was shot, and Huey was shot. And then Huey basically had to fight for his life.
I will be free, providing that we're successful in the battle that we're engaged in now, and that is to revolutionize the court system.
Peoples of the world are demanding that Huey P. Newton be set free, so in defense of our lives, for the survival of black people and human beings of the world, we all say in solidarity that Huey P. Newton must be set free or the sky is the limit around the world.
That was one of the first big political prisoner cases of the 60s for this era was Free Huey.
Freehood! Then I want you free. Freehood! Black is beautiful. Freehood! Then I want you free. Freehood!
So what's down the block?
Right down the block is the first office, where you can see the red awning right here that we're about to walk up to. That's where the first office of the Black Panther Party was. So when you hear about little Bobby Hutton, you hear about who was the first member, and also the first person to get killed, and also the treasurer. You hear about Tarika Lewis, who was the first female member of the Black Panther Party. They all would have to report here. And she was also one of the first gun teachers of the Black Panther Party.
So they were neighbors?
All neighbors. They were all from West Oakland.
I was asking you earlier, like it's bugged out how today we don't necessarily see how these relationships are organically created. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I think it's important that they're organically created, because a lot of times we have organizations where people come together for an organizing purpose, but we don't necessarily like each other. And I think when you go back into the history of the Black Panther Party, they liked each other. Little Bobby Hutton hung with Huey and Bobby Seale, whether he was gonna be a Black Panther or not. You know, Tarika Lewis used to be the girlfriend of Little Bobby Hutton, whether they was gonna be Black Panthers or not. So they was all friends, and the organizing came naturally because they thought this was important, and they were all learning together. I heard Assata Shakur speak in the 90s, in the late 90s, and that's one of the things she talked about is, do we know each other's favorite color? Do we know each other's children? Do we know what each other likes besides political stuff? She said that's so important. If we gotta hide somewhere with each other for 3 days, that's important. You know, but we don't sense that that's important because we're not in such dire straits as she was. The original Panthers were from West Oakland. And West Oakland is like 4 or 5 exits on the freeway. Literally, you can walk across West Oakland in less than 45 minutes. And so you have all the Panthers living in West Oakland, and they all go to the same college. And little Bobby Hutton goes to the high school that's closest to the college. And so, you know, they party together. They hang out with the Free Huey. Like I was saying earlier, the Free Huey case came out of a party that they was having. And Huey left the party, and the police tried to set him up. So it wasn't just a political organization where, yes, I want to sign up to be a Black Panther. The original Panthers, the first band of Panthers, the first chapter of Panthers, it was a family, it was a crew.
And you don't stop Rooftop Live. We are in Oakland, California. We are here with the brother K Swift. Brother, thank you for being here with us today. So first off, my brother, tell the people to our global speaking audience who K Swift is.
Man, I'm MC K Swift, spitter, educator, learning organizer, and I'm just here.
Word. Now you came up in the Bronx. Tell us a little bit about your experience coming up in the Mecca and the birthplace of hip hop.
Indeed. Well, you know, I'm not originally from the Bronx. I lived in the Bronx for a number of years, but I grew up in the Lower East Side by way of Brownsville, Brooklyn. So I really cut my teeth as a young MC in the streets of Brooklyn throughout, you know, from Brownsville to Bushwick, East New York, running around with my crew, and, you know, with the older guys who were showing us the ropes. Shout out to the Cherokee Chiefs, you know, and just learn the ethic of being a real MC from the older people around me.
And you eventually hooked up with the Universal Zulu Nation. Tell us about that, how that came about, and what your role is in that organization today.
Right on. The first individual that started bringing me around the Universal Zulu Nation through universal meetings and things like that was a younger brother, my brother Matthew Hall, rest in peace, who was sadly murdered in 2003. And after his death, I started building with more Zulus from the chapter that he was a part of, and you know, just learning more about the organization, and I became a formal member in 2006. But I had been around Zulus from as early as 1993.
Absolutely. And now you made the move to the Bay, to the West Coast, which is where we're here today in Oakland. Tell us a little bit about how you find the scene here to be a little different than the East Coast scene.
Yeah, the Bay Area has a very strong musical culture. You know, at one point there was areas in Oakland that were known as the Harlem of the West, you know. So the traditions from jazz and blues on through funk, moving forward to hip hop, has continued to be strong. It's very unique in that artists who are huge out here aren't as well known elsewhere, whereas, you know, in other cities, the biggest stars of those cities tend to be national stars, whereas here you have a very strong, supportive audience that is super local, you know, so it's dope, but it's very unique.
And now tell me about, you've had also the experience not only to perform here on the West Coast, but you also have been in the classroom, you've been working with young people. Tell us a little bit about your work here in Oakland with young people.
Indeed. Well, I've joined the staff of Youth Speaks, which is an organization that produces poetry events and conducts workshops in schools and in after-school programs, and also provides other opportunities for young people to express themselves, which is very similar to the work that I was doing in New York. And, you know, the problems with the school systems are the same. You know, young people, especially those of color, are marginalized. It's definitely a Eurocentric, hegemonic education system that we see across the country. And, you know, No Child Left Behind has also really numbed, I think, a young person's, you know, passions for learning oftentimes, and also just it doesn't promote any sort of critical thinking or critical literacy skills, and it doesn't encourage questioning or investigation or even personal investment in, you know, learning. So it's really not the education system, you know, as it is in New York, and as it is around the country, especially in these urban centers. You know, it ain't for our kids. You know?
Check it. The day was sunny, but the mood felt like rain. There were no clouds, but the blue sky seemed stained. Something was wrong, I could feel the tension on the block. I dapped my homie as we walked into the parking lot. I said what up, before he responded he hesitated. He had a mug on his grill looking type agitated. He started saying how him and our mans had some problems they've been going on for weeks. He figured out how to solve them. Before I had the chance to tell him, yo, don't even bother, he took off his backpack, pulled out the .22 revolver. I don't know if he had his finger on the trigger, but I snatched the burner quick and it spoke firmly to this figure like, what the fuck, this ain't what's up, you supposed to be tough, so throw the hands when you see him, brother, you ain't got a buck. I was nervous than a mother kid, my pulse exploded. With 16 with a gat, I ain't want, that's loaded. But at least I calmed family down, cause he probably would've got knocked and my other mans would be down. We took a walk around the block, he understanding me now. I'm praying we don't see no cops and then this hammer be found in my possession, lethal weapon, and who knows if it's dirty. But at the time, in my mind, that wasn't even my worry. He asked me for the gat back, I told him to go cool off until later that night when he ain't wanna bust the tool off. Yo, in the hood, we be going through the realness. If you from the ghetto, then I know that you could feel this. The struggles and pains we all gotta deal with. Hip hop music is one part of the healing. In the hood, we be going through the realness. If you from the ghetto, then I know that you could feel this. The struggles and pains we all gotta deal with. Hip-hop music is one part of the healing. Thinking back to Labor Day on the Parkway. It was the summer, but it turned into a dark day. Me throwing supernova was having a ball. Running the streets bugging till we got that phone call. Over the line they told us that somebody shot Sleep. Sleep was about peace. We all in disbelief like how could this happen? He probably only hit in the arm. Silently in denial of our man's coming to harm. When we met up with the crew down at the hospital, reality set in ways that I ain't know was possible. Family and friends all gathered around the bed. Bandages around his head where he was shot, brain dead. Life supported by machine and it ain't clear what went down. A lot of different rumors and stories was flying around. Now I heard the kid that did it is locked up in the pen. But that don't make me feel no better cause I still can't see my friend. In the hood we be going through the realness. If you from the ghetto then I know that you could feel this. The struggles and pains we all gotta deal with. Hip-hop music is one part of the healing. In the hood, we be going through the realness. If you from the ghetto, then I know that you could feel this. The struggles and pains we all gotta deal with. Hip-hop music is one part of the healing. We be having memories that we rather forget. Escaping from reality when the blunt is lit. Pushing it further away every time you take a sip. Some people use a sniff, some people cut their wrists. You ain't gotta be from the hood to feel a song. The world is a ghetto if poverty is going on. Even in the world of riches, things is going wrong. Pain is universal, so I know that we can stand strong. Still, I'm representing where I'm from, where my people living foul, holding jumps, busting guns. Where we dying over BS like gang colors and funds. Where the rough go to prison and the good die young. And the elders stressed out, heads full of gray hairs. Cause they see the promise in front of us, but we ain't there. All the tears we shed make it hard to see our fate clear. But if you look in our eyes, you see that God face near.